Hi, I'm here. Hello. Yeah. So I wanted to at least record myself playing through the entirety of this at least once, and then maybe archiving it just for my own personal purposes. So yeah, I'm playing my demo today. Whether people fucking want to see it or not. I actually had to like go bring out like a very old layout from like I think like a really old stream from like a year and a half ago just to like kind of make it look all right. But congratulations, you're going to be able to like see my face for like the first time in eons, and I don't look that terrible. I think. At least I don't think I do. Boo, hi. I'm alive. I'm alive and well. I got to turn on the fucking sound for this game because I was playing music. Boom! DeltaEmblem. So yeah. This entire fucking demo took me approximately 5 months. I started like January 15th this year, with just, honestly just toying around with FE Builder. And, it honestly all escalated with like creating like 2 portraits and making a skit called Mutton Madness, which I think is also on my YouTube page still. I posted it to Reddit and people liked it, and I was like, you know what, let's see how much further I can take this. I usually don't go above and beyond with certain ideas. And lo and behold, I managed to actually get pretty far in it, so. You're fine. I mean, like, I'm gonna be giving myself a commentary just throughout all of it. Like, the entire process of making this was really interesting. Like, so, I mean, like, one of it's obvious, like, you know, like, just rereading all the text and stuff, which, I mean, like, no matter how many times, like, you proofread your own work, there's always gonna be, like, one crack that slips. Like, also, yeah, take care, man. But yeah, we'll just get right into it. I'm gonna be playing on normal today, just because, I'd rather not, showcase the hard mode. The hard mode does have a couple changes, but in reality, I want to make sure today's playthrough is pretty smooth. But, yeah. And yeah, Apple did help me, like, proofread, like, all this. Or at least mass majority of it. Whenever I finished a chapter, at least early on, I immediately DM'd Apple saying, like, oh, yeah, could you potentially proofread this video I just sent you? And Apple was usually always down for it. But yeah, one of the things I actually didn't do, or at least address for a while when I was making this, was actually this intro right here. I actually didn't know how I wanted to start my demo, because there is the whole FE8, like, intro cutscene with, like, a bunch of text, as well as, like, you know, like, the opening in FE8, just, like, before the title screen. I just opted to just remove all of them for, like, this demo alone, and just simply stuck with, like, honestly, a slight intro for, like, how Chris just gets into the Dark World, which is basically just... Oh, yeah, another thing, Chris can apparently talk in my demo, because, like, at least early on, I was like, oh, shit, I can't really, make Chris just a silent protagonist in a Fire Emblem ROM hack, so I'm just like, yeah, I just tried to write a character for Chris, and it mostly just follows a typical Fire Emblem lord, so... And for the record, I'm not going to be reading it out loud, but I mean, I'm going to just be giving, like, commentary over, like, everything. But, yeah. One of the things that was pretty fun, though, was obviously just editing all the tile sets. Because while I only had 16 colors to work with for a mass majority of them, I mean, I could, like, flip stuff around, you know, invert things, so on and so forth. And, I don't know, it's just kind of cool to, like, mess with stuff like that. Just, like, you know, like, playing around limitations. You really wouldn't think about it, like, right away, but, like, I think it also just helps, I guess, like, kind of work around, like, like, I can't speak. It kind of helps, like, just figure out what the hell you can do with certain limitations, like, what you can, like, you know, do and what you can't, I guess. And I will state, like, there is plenty of things with this ROM hack where I obviously might have just copy and pasted something. One of them actually is obviously this background. It's literally just taken directly from Deltarune. I took a screenshot and just imported it because it doesn't have a lot of colors. 16 colors isn't a lot, but like the funny thing about Deltarune on its own is the fact that it isn't a very demanding game with color palettes. So it actually fits really well. True, true. Like, each character here, like... I mean, technically it isn't even 16 colors. It's actually less, because at least with how you import things into FE Builder, you have to account for 1 gray and, like, basically a blank slate color, which, for the most part, is just, like, a very, like, green. It's basically meant to be that transparent color inside of the code. So, you practically only have, like, 14. I will say one thing, though, that was very interesting to work around, and it's the fact that, obviously, I mean, everybody so far you see, I mean, if anybody here has played, like, a GBA Fire Emblem game, is that every sprite so far has been unique. That has been really hard to do, only because, well, I mean, I guess, what's the right word to put it? Well, I mean, like, okay. A fighter in the, like, the normal game uses 1 sprite on the field, and, it only has 1 sprite. You can just change the palettes to, like, you know, make it more unique. So I had to work around the limitation of basically, like, okay, who can be this fighter in the code, and who can be that class in this code? So basically, everybody here is kind of their own unique class. Chris stays the unique Fire Emblem just Lord class. I actually went into the game's code to make Susie a fighter. But, like, this isn't, like, your typical fighter. She basically is her own class. Like, if I were to show you the code right now, Susie literally is in her own league. There's fighter for everybody else, and then there's just fighter for Susie. So, yeah. But enough about that. Yeah. I made Chris basically like your typical standard Lord. They share a lot of similar stats to Erica, but I tried to beef them up a bit just so they wouldn't really die too much, at least on normal mode. But Susie, Susie's a special case. She is a level 15 fighter. Mostly because every single Fire Emblem game has some form of Jagan archetype, which is basically just yeah, I'm a beefy boy in the early game, but I'm not so beefy later on. But yeah, I honestly wanted to make her one and apply a unique twist already present in Deltarune Chapter 1. And it's the fact that she doesn't really listen to you after Castletown. So I figured out a way to try to, like, you know, make that a reality. But we'll get there when we get there. Also, hi, Seb. But yeah, Susie right now literally kills everything and gets no experience because she's level 15. What's up, man? I am showcasing my work. But yeah, another thing, like, I got to animate everybody, like, in some capacity. Some were just, like, you know, like, sprite edits. Others weren't. And, everybody has, like, a crit animation, too, and I tried to add some flavor to it. Especially Chris's right here. I mean, Chris has red eyes, so I was just like, you know what? What if I just made him glow? Oh, another crit. Nice. Easy kill. But yeah, that's literally the first chapter. I originally was gonna, like, incorporate, like, a tutorial right now. But I actually got pretty frustrated with, like, the tutorial dialogue boxes. Because, some of them, like... I mean, like, if you don't follow the instructions exactly, which, I mean, like, that's just coding in general, the game just breaks. So I just opted to just lower the stats everybody on easy mode and just leave it at that. Because, I presumed if anybody was actually going to touch this, they would at least know Fire Emblem, so. Yeah, it could happen because I showed up. What's up, Magisha? But yeah, I basically tried to, like, loosely follow the story of just Deltarune Chapter 1 currently. And, like, I did it enough to where, like, you know, it still made sense in, like, you know, the context of Deltarune itself. But, like, I also tried to rewrite it in a way to where, like, you know, it fit the Fire Emblem theme. So, like, Chris is just trying to save the world-ish for, like, the majority of the demo. And, like, there is, like, you know, a very, not so nice, king, I guess you could say, that's just trying to take over everything, which, I mean, I wonder who that is right now, but either way, Chapter 1 takes place in Castletown. This was very fun to sprite out, because, honestly, it's probably the most unique chapter out of everything else in the demo. And, of course, we also just get to see the introduction of Rousey, which I opted to not give him the hat. I thought about it, but I was also just like, with how portraits are presented in just the GBA Fire Emblem games, it honestly just wouldn't work, or it would just look really ugly. So, like, there's just enough space within, like, you know, the portrait to, like, kind of just fit everything. Because the higher you go up, it more, like, cones in. So, like, you can kind of see it with Susie right now, which I never bothered to fix. But, like, there's, like, this one little hair tuft, like, on the left of her portrait that gets cut off. And that kind of just describes what I'm saying. Like, it kind of just cones in the higher you go. And if you don't play around that, it just is a very ugly cutoff point. Writing was also a little bit of fun, because I got to basically rewrite several things that probably would have been, like, just out of character in, like, the original game. I don't know. But yeah, I basically had to attempt to write, like, you know, like, at least, like, you know, like, a starting point for, like, where I was gonna take this. So, this chapter is basically just the lore dump of the game. But, like, you know, if you played the original Deltarune, you kind of know how the story plays out. But I had to, like, kind of, like, write my, like, own Fire Emblem-esque twist to, like, kind of make it a little bit more sense for this, like, you know, frame. I don't know. So, the rewrite is basically, alright, they obviously find Rousey here, and Susie's not all for it because we just got ambushed, and, Rousey gives us the down low, which basically is, alright, with lots of cutscenes, basically, the Dark Fountain that appears in Card Castle is, obviously not normal, but the king gets corrupted, basically, from it, because he wants more power. Who would have thought for a typical Fire Emblem villain? And I think, like, it's not that, like, you know, like, out of character anyway, because, like, the king was never, you know, like, a very redeeming character. The king, at least in chapter 1, was just like, alright, I'm here at the very end, and, I'm here to kick your ass. But, yeah. And I didn't really know how I wanted to address, like, you know, like, his soldiers and stuff, so I just said they blindly followed his orders. So that's probably the one weaker aspect of attempting to write this, but I mean, like, you know, if I actually go back to it, I'll probably fix it, so. Also, I'm sorry if I'm, like, ignoring chat. Creative writing is, like, really fun. I just suck at it. You know, I'd believe that. Honestly, it's been a while since I've actually, like, you know, like, read the... Obviously what goes down in Chapter 1, but I mean, like, I've speedrun the game, so I at least know, like, you know, at its core what happens, but... Some smaller stuff probably is, like, you know, a bit vague. But yeah, after that giant lore dump of Rousey basically just telling, the Lightners what's up, Rousey obviously asks, hey, Chris, Susie... Could you please join me in taking down the king? He's going to destroy everything. And because Chris and Susie just literally fell through, like, a closet door into who knows where, they're pretty skeptical right now. Like, Chris is like, oh, it's a lot to take in, and then Susie's just a serious sound. I think I'll pass, but I cut it off for a reason. Because, lo and behold, okay, I found my first error. That guy walked in a way he shouldn't have. He broke the laws of physics. I love it. But yeah, obviously Lancer's here. He was there, or at least present in the prologue. I finally get to share my thoughts on this because, I mean, if I actually do plan on, like, going above and beyond with this, which I still am not sure about yet, I plan on doing something really, really interesting with Lancer, which kind of still fits in character. But basically, this is sowing the seeds. This is sowing the seeds for a plot twist later on. That kind of fits in with, like, the end of Chapter 1 in the original game. But yeah, Lancer being Lancer, just walks off. And, I guess, the head soldier here is the one that's basically initiating the charge. But yeah. Rousey spots them, and we basically head directly into our second round of combat. And this is one decision I think I slightly regret after completing it, but I mean, like, it's more of just a design choice, because, once I get to, like, the end of this demo, you'll see what I mean, but once I check Rousey's stats, at least. Yeah, basically, it's the fact that, we get our first mage in this chapter with Rousey being it, but Rousey is your one only healer for the mass majority of this demo. And normally in Fire Emblem, you basically, if you wanted a class that could both use magic and staffs, you basically would have to get to, like, you know, the promoted classes. So basically, I gave Rousey the pre-promotion benefits, but still being a normal mage. So basically, yeah. Rousey is arguably one of the best units in this demo. Whether by intention or not. I think it is next to impossible to beat this demo without Rousey because the healing is so essential, but, like, the magic's also essential too, so... Kind of something I maybe would want to change later down the line, but it's also literally the second chapter, but... What would you say the difficulty level is? For at least normal, it's like, okay, if you played a Fire Emblem game, you should be fine. Like, in all honesty, you probably shouldn't be resetting that much, like, or even at all on normal, if you've, like, at least touched one Fire Emblem game before and even beaten one. Easy, I tried to make really damn easy with only really just stat reductions on everything. So at least somebody like Chris won't die that easily in easy mode, while here it's just like, alright, just play smart and you're fine. Like, Susie is also just meant to be your early game carry for at least these first 2 chapters, which we'll get into later, but the main gimmick of this map is basically just teaching you reinforcements and villages, which they're labeled villages, but they're clearly just houses. The normal village tiles are usually like 2x3. Well, actually, no, they're 3x3, with, like, you know, 1 active tile to obviously enter the village, but I had to obviously work around that. So the only accessible tile to enter the houses is the very vacant spot right before it. So if I could change that later, I probably would. Maybe make the houses bigger, but I don't want to make everything else look a bit uglier. So anyway, we're just going to move everybody up. Just line them up. If anyone really wanted to, though, like, they simply could just throw Susie into enemy fire and completely just destroy this chapter if they wanted to. But these first 2 chapters are meant to just really just serve as, like, you know, like a mini tutorial sorts. And, like, if you honestly wanted to just cheese the first 2 chapters with Susie, you honestly could and get away with it. Because I didn't really try to level scale the enemies too hard for these first 2 chapters. Like, I believe the enemies on Chapter 2 are usually around, like, hovering around level 2 and 3, so. And while everybody starts at level 1, there's enough enemies on the field to where, like, you'll scale pretty quickly. In fact, it actually kind of, gave me a bit of concern with, like, level scaling, at least later on, because, I mean, like, I only have, like, so many units and so many enemies to where, like, things could actually get out of control pretty quickly. So I actually installed a patch that brings in the Fates XP system, which basically, you know, like, it basically keeps everybody contained, like, on, like, the level curve. So if somebody gets too, like, you know, high up on the level curve, like 3-4 levels-ish above where you should be in the current chapter, it really halts your XP gain. So it basically forces you to level up the units that are, like, falling behind. But yeah, each house here has an item that you can pick up for the upcoming chapters, and I actually ended up replacing one of them. The house on the top right used to give a steel axe, which, for later chapter reasons, I was originally going to work around a certain thing that basically would carry Susie's inventory throughout later chapters, which, if I'm just going to drop the ball right now, Susie is leaving after this chapter and is becoming a green unit for a good while. But the original idea was obviously, whatever she's holding onto right now, she's basically going to carry until very late into, like, you know, chapter 1. It feels funny having to differentiate chapters in Fire Emblem where, like, every single battle's a chapter, but, like, think in context of, like, Delta and, Susie, within the original game, would permanently join your party, like, for real, around the time you enter Card Castle. And that's the time when I would originally, bring her back into the party for real. But that jump between, here and then, like, she basically plays the role of a green unit, which, doesn't listen to you at all, does their own thing, but Susie is literally unstoppable at this point, so she is relatively fine for the time being. But yeah, that's why I would put a steel axe up there, but I couldn't work around it, because, with how the code is in the game, basically Susie's inventory gets wiped once we start chapter 3, so I basically have to opt to give her an iron axe every single chapter going on that, like, from that chapter. So I ended up just saying, fuck it, I'm just gonna make this ROM hack a bit easier, and, give it a energy ring, which is basically just a permanent stat boost to strength or magic, depending on the character. Which I think in hard mode is honestly kind of necessary, because there's important kill thresholds you need to hit. But yeah, you can basically give that to anybody currently or somebody later on. And the other houses just give a bunch of other small stuff, like I placed an iron sword here. There's a house with 5,000 gold, which you can spend in shops later, and I believe there's an extra vulnerary that you can pick up, which is basically just a 10 HP heal for whoever uses it. Which reminds me, Susie's starting, I guess, hand is an iron axe and a vulnerary, just in case the prologue is... in case you just get unlucky with some hits with Chris, then, but it's also meant to just be, like, you know, a heal for Rousey this chapter, because outside of Chris and Susie right now, there is no feasible way to heal Rousey outside of vulneraries. So I thought it was pretty important just to at least throw 2 right away, just so at least Rousey can heal himself, because, yeah, healing is pretty important for your only healer in the demo, so... But yeah, these last 3 don't charge you at all, so you can basically just take your time and just collect whatever else is here. And because Susie is leaving our party, I'm basically just going to be taking whatever else she has on her, which honestly is just going to be the energy ring. For Chapter 2, she does keep her inventory the way it is right now. So basically, if I were to leave her right now, she would only have a 41 use iron axe for Chapter 2, which honestly is a little funny, because you can just take the iron axe from her right now, and she has nothing to work with going into Chapter 2, but she'll be fine in Chapter 3. I don't know, I just think it's funny, so... Like, if you wanted the extra experience for next chapter, you could just unequip the iron axe and just let her just face tank stuff. But I kind of don't recommend it with how many units you have currently, at least by that point. Anyway, I think I will just place these 2 in front and get them their experience. Another crit, nice. Oh, I fucked up, didn't I? That's my bad. That's my bad. That's my bad. That's my bad. Well, you see, the nice thing about playing on my Nintendo PC is the fact that I can fast forward. I actually did not expect to fuck that up. it's my ROM hack. I actually thought I spaced it out correctly, but simply a difference in skill. This is called negative testing. You're so right. You're so right. Yeah. Honestly, it actually is a thing, Mojisha. Like, I actually had to, like, you know, change a lot of the boss code to, like, you know, make them function as bosses for, like, a lot of, like, the defeat boss chapters, or brute enemy chapters, because, you'd be surprised how many times I accidentally made a chapter in this, this engine, played the chapter casually for, like, 20 to 30 minutes, and then killed everything, but I'm still here, so it didn't actually end the chapter. It was pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna let Susie literally just steamroll the rest of this, because I'd rather not just wait through all of it. I'll grab the rest of the items, too. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Weapon levels, or, like, weapon experience is, like, completely off the charts. I honestly want to, like, maybe try to work around, like, the certain, like, you know, benchmarks for each level, because, if you use Chris or Rousey normally, at least with, like, you know, their Fire Tomb, and Chris's Rapier, or Iron Sword, they will both hit C rank probably by the end of Chapter 3. Like, it's... And arguably, like, I mean, like, I could just give steel weapons right now, but for the sake of just power scaling, I don't think I want to. Like, I at least want to save steel weapons for maybe... I actually want to say... the fields? Oh. God damn it, really? Chris, you didn't dodge. Alright. You see, now I'm playing dumb because I'm trying to give commentary, but, we're now going to be playing the unfair rule, and, abusing one of the few things I incorporated in Chapter 1, which is just abusing Susie, so... They'll just sit here while Susie kills everything. Cool. Yeah, we're fine. Alright, Susie, have fun. I'm gonna give the boss kill, though, to Chris. I'm gonna remind myself to maybe make some save states as we go, just in case we have another funny quinkadinky like that. I've played all these chapters so much, I should honestly know that by this point, but I don't. Yeah, funny coinkydinky. Yeah, after that whole battle, they obviously, well, Chris praises Rousey for the healing. Susie's just like, y'all fucking suck. But yeah, after that, obviously Susie's just about had enough with the both of these two, and honestly just sets out to go find an exit on her own, and just leaves Chris and Rousey just kind of deal with the mess that they're in. And that just kind of kicks off the big old, like, grand start of this adventure I'm setting in the Fire Emblem universe. I mean, that's literally what happens. Like, Susie single-handedly is the best unit in the game. And she pokes fun at it, too. For obvious reasons. I mean, Susie is also the best combat unit in the original game, so... And with Susie, like, gonna be, like, playable... Well, I can't speak. Oh, my God. With Susie being playable, like, you know, fully playable, very later on, much... Words! With Susie, going to be playable, much later on, by that point, your whole army should be basically on the same level as her, so... That's basically how I'm counteracting the Jagan archetype. Susie will still be pretty good by the time she officially joins your party, but... That won't be for a while, and everybody should at least be up to her speed by that time. Yeah, there we go. That is the first 2 chapters, and there's technically 3 more, with the bonus hidden chapter, which we will be playing. I have posted many updates on this ROM hack on my Discord, but one of the few things I never publicly showcased was the entirety of the hidden chapter, which I'm kind of thankful for. It isn't anything too special, but we'll get there when we get there. Anyway, start of chapter 2 is mostly just slowly introducing us to the rest of the cast so far, which in this case is everybody in the Fields of Hopes and Dreams. So we're obviously meeting a couple of familiar NPCs here, including Jigsaw Joe, which I had a lot of fun animating. I needed like an Armor Knight archetype within the Delta universe, and I thought the Puzzlemen fit perfectly. Just because they're bulky, and they kind of fit the same physique as Armor Knights within the game. The only thing I wish I could do is obviously, you know, like, kind of add their hats within the battle animations, because I had to basically obsolete those. Because, surprise, surprise, there's going to be more than one Armor Knight in this demo. In fact, they're probably the most plentiful class you get in the demo. I'm flattered to hear that, Mojisha. I spent a lot of time on this. Oh my god. Anyway, here, I found a one small tidbit about Jigsaw Joe and how, like, he used to work for the king, but basically, he got fired, for some reason I'm forgetting right now, but all I know is that it fits very similar to the context here, and, basically, I basically decided to write a funny little tidbit of, the soldiers just being fucking annoyed with him. So, here we are. He basically gets discharged, fired, and all the soldiers are fed up with him now that he's, fired, so they basically try to poke fun at him a lot. Anyway. They get here, and within, like, the first couple of minutes, they're gonna be meeting a very familiar face. I wonder if somebody can guess who it is. Yes, it is your mom. She is, in fact, in my Fire Emblem 8 ROM hack. I never told you, but she's here. Nah, I actually lied. Lancer actually shows up right here, right now, and basically, disrupts our 2 Lightners. But yeah, Lancer basically serves as, like, the comic relief for the demo, with a couple, like, you know, quips here and there. But Lancer is probably the most unique out of, all the units in the game. in the fact that he doesn't attack at all. He's the one unit in the demo that actually can't initiate combat. And that's because he fills the role of the dancer, if anybody has played a Fire Emblem game before. He'll basically grant extra actions to everybody in your party. Like, he could spend his turn basically granting an extra action to Chris or Rousey or so on and so forth. And you're going to be doing that a lot, because my demo doesn't have a lot of playable units, so I had to basically find a way to make things work a bit better. And I mean, like, there's, I think, like, a few games that also kind of work around this idea, too. Like, as much as I don't like comparing this game to it, I know Fire Emblem Fates at least doesn't give you a lot of units in certain routes, and, I mean, Azura is there basically to sing to your units and give them extra actions when you really need it, so I kind of tried to follow in suit of that. Anyway, main conflict right now is just catching up to Susie, and surprise, surprise, we're not alone. Yeah, we get a good look at 3 units on the field. Obviously, the first one is Top Chef, who has had his kitchen torn to shreds. Second one being Jigsaw Joe, who we just saw. And last one being Susie. Alrighty, now that this has started, I can finally talk about the 3 units that are now playable in this chapter. The first one obviously being Lancer. I already briefly talked about him, but he starts with a Vulnerary just because with somebody that can't attack, he needs recovery somehow. But yeah, he won't ever get outsped at all. He has some alright HP, but not really great bulk at all. Top Chef, on the other hand, is your first Cavalier unit. And I tried to basically kind of make him an all-arounder. With a little bit of investment, he can definitely snowball, though. With many runs I have tested, he either is not good enough to really hit some thresholds, or he hits them pretty well. It just depends on what you get for the first couple level ups. Jigsaw Joe, on the other hand, he is your wall. He is your wall for the demo. He rocks 11 defense and 8 strength. If you need him to hold a choke, he's got it. And that's his main role in this opening chapter of him. Both Susie and Jigsaw Joe are basically holding 2 choke points with 3 Rudens. And your main goal for at least this chapter is basically just to recruit everybody and just stay out of sight. Because honestly, if you kind of try to go for these extra sides right here, while they aren't holding the chokes, things can snowball out of control pretty quickly. But enough of that. They're green units currently. The only way to recruit them into your army is by talking to them with Chris, so that's what we're going to be doing. Obviously, Top Chef is pretty heartbroken over his top kick. But hey, he can put up a fight for anybody who's fighting the king, so. Another thing is that I also had to try to write small hit bits of just alright, some characters don't have that much of a character in the game, so I had to try to give them one that stayed semi-consistent. So Top Chef is just a mercenary that just likes to cook. And Jigsaw Joe's just an ex-soldier of the king. and I forgot to change that value. Lancer is not supposed to be able to walk on black tiles such as this, but somebody actually pointed out to me in the first patch I posted out that he just kind of could. So,
Autobots, roll out.
Roaring enthusiast, hi! Hi, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? Buddy! I'm playing my funny little fucking ROM hack. Enjoy the show, because I'm trying to describe it to the best of my ability, but, hope your day was good. Got full world records today? I'm looking forward to this. Nice, nice. We're only on chapter 2 of, like, 4. There's still, like, 4 left, but, yeah. This isn't supposed to happen. Somehow forgot to change a value in Lancer's code, I guess. Like, it was one of the last things I did. I can honestly easily hotfix it right now, but just for the comedic fun of it, we're just gonna leave it like this. I think it's really funny just to have Lancer walk on tile he's not supposed to. It also just kind of fits him. So... I have not seen a 123 all chapters, all bosses. Congrats, man. I'm gonna be looking at that later. Yeah, the main, like, side objective for this chapter is literally just getting the Jigsaw Joe. He's basically gonna be pressured by 3 Rudins, which, I mean, like, while he has 11 defense, these guys have 14 attack and will wear him down over time if you just don't get into him right away. And in hard mode, it's a lot more pressing. You really have to think outside the box to get to him. Yeah, who's Joe, bro? I, like, added so many minor characters in this ROM hack, bro. It's great. Yeah, Susie basically just kills everything on the right side because she's Susie. And because there's so many, I guess, like, you know, like, one-tile choke points, you actually can play around her AI to, like, basically hold different chokes. Either she can be cooperative with you, or you can just not cooperate with her and just do your own thing, but, so yeah, this turn, I'm just gonna be moving everybody down. Jigsaw, or Top Chef, has just enough strength to take out the enemy Cavaliers in this map, so... Again, it's a Fire Emblem thing. So funny that I actually forgot that code, man. Rousey is okay. I will protect Rousey with my life. Anyway, we recruit Jigsaw Joe. He's over dramatic because I had to give him some kind of personality. Yeah, bro. I tried to, like, write it in a Fire Emblem-esque way, so Chris just basically fills the typical Fire Emblem Lord. Otherwise, I don't know how to be able to write this at all. It was kind of fun to work around it, though, because I'm just like, how do I write Chris in a way that doesn't feel super out of line? Just enough to kind of, like, be able to progress things, and, like, he does fill that, like, you know, prankster-esque role, in some, like, scenarios, but outside of that, he's basically just, I'm the Fire Emblem Lord, we're gonna do this. Susie's the same, though, at least. Yeah, I'm just gonna have them hold these chokes. Yeah, I wrote this little extra, like, you know, tidbit because of last chapter's ending. I thought it'd be just, you know, something extra for somebody that might wants to see it. But basically, it's, yeah, I talked to Rousey. Susie does not like it and just is on her merry way. It's basically meant just to say, yeah, Susie's not cooperating with you anymore. I know, right? I can't believe she's swearing. Thank you, Veggie. Enjoy your lurk. Honestly, I believe it, Ash. You know how much I swear anyway. Anyway, after this churn, reinforcements come from all ends, and by this point, obviously, everybody should just be, like, around here. So, it's more of just, yeah. Which units you want to basically just put on each, like, 1-point tile, I guess. And, like, everybody can hold a certain choke. You'll see in a second. Thank you. Also, wow, that's an insane level up. Top Chef really got a good one. Anyway, Churn 4, we basically get normal Rudens from the south, Ruden Rangers from the east, Hathies from the north, and Boar Rudens from the west. So, you can kind of adjust accordingly for each of these. Rousey can definitely take down the mages. Top Chef can deal with the Ridden Rangers, and I think I'll put Chris down here. Where's everybody at? And yeah, like, if for some odd reason, you're feeling uneasy about, like, placing somebody here, that's why Susie's here. Her AI is kind of unpredictable. She might go a little too north or a little too south sometimes. And this time she's just decided to go near the boss, which, I mean, if she kills the boss, it's not the end of the world. It's just some extra XP. That's one thing you have to play around with Susie in this demo, is just the fact of she can probably steal kills that you need for your units, and that's about it, but outside of that, she's still basically an ally. She just doesn't listen. There it is. There it is. My favorite animation. I was hoping I'd be able to catch it on camera. It should be fine. Anybody I want to heal? Can't reach anybody. Oh yeah, I wrote one support in this game, and only one. I originally planned on writing more, but I was kind of just wanting to wrap everything up at this point, so Chris and Rousey have a support that can reach A rank throughout the entirety of the demo, and I purposefully increased the point values just so it is obtainable for, you know, like, if you start at the beginning of the demo to, like, the end. They're just extra, like, you know, dialogue conversations just for fun. Susie is running, actually. Huh. Interesting. I'm learning new stuff about the AI. My own ROM hack. I think I'll throw Rousey in there as a bait. Rousey's like the only unit so far that has decent resistance, so going up against somebody like Hattie over here with attack of 14, Rousey should be fine. Level 3. You know, we'll throw Chris in there. It's funny, in all my times of playtesting, this is the first time I've actually seen Susie actively run away to heal. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's fine. It's just arguably a little bit funny. Probably because I didn't snag the Vulnerary off of her. Anyway. Who's close to level up right now? I could probably give it to Chris. Dunzo. Just shy. But yeah, that's the end of the third battle. I decided to place a reward for people who actually go out of their way to save Jigsaw Joe, because it definitely is a lot harder than Top Chef. But it's basically just an extra 3,000 gold. Gold really just comes into effect next chapter, because that's when you can finally start buying things, but there's going to be certain shops later on that can give you better weapons at a higher cost, so basically the money you get in Castletown as well as here is really what drives it. Anyway, after that battle, basically Chris and Rousey gain, well, I should say, Lancer gains Chris and Rousey's trust and joins their ranks, but anyway, yeah, it's basically a party of 5 now. Should nobody die up at this point, because permadeath is still a thing. It's just, for story reasons, I initiated a game over sequence for every main Lightner, as well as Lancer, so basically Chris, Rousey, Susie, and Lancer all can't die at all, and if one of them does die, it's an instant game over, which probably is frustrating for at least the first 3 chapters, but once you get to chapter 3, you at least have more units that can be expendable, I guess. It sounds fucked up to say, but I mean, like, I still wanted to, like, keep that Fire Emblem aspect in the game, so anyway, all that aside, I decided, just for funsies, to, like, add a flashback bit right here. Because I think around the time I was also just, like, trying to write, or at least I was trying to see what I could, like, get away with, writing-wise. Because I was like, alright, what if I add a bunch of flashback bits throughout, like, the entirety of, like, their first trip to the Dark World? And obviously, some of them just being hit bits, like, of what happens in the overworld, so I was like, okay, why don't we talk about how they got here, and their interactions before entering the closet. So And lo and behold, Overworld Chris and Susie. Let me just say, when I originally created both of these, Chris did not have a neck. It was pretty bad. I think I have an image of it somewhere, but like when I was giving the chapter to Apple to proofread it, Apple just poked fun at it so much. I thought it was so funny, and I was like, yeah, I gotta change this. It was more of just finding a balance of like having a neck, well, finding a balance between no neck and too long of a neck, I guess. Because, well, like, I don't know, it is pixel art. Like, even just a couple pixels, like, makes a big of a difference, so. This is probably the one thing I couldn't accurately, bring over. Just because, conversations are pretty limited, but I can make them jump up and down and just make them disappear. So, that was the closest thing we got to them falling. Yeah, this basically is meant to cement the fact that, Susie is not going to be cooperating with you at all going forward, so, yeah, that's like, that is only the first half of the demo, and like the shorter half as well, because technically there's still 3 more chapters left, so I'm gonna take like 5 minutes just to go recharge myself, get some water, and we're just gonna play the second half of this as well, so, yeah, I will be right back. Fart. I did it. Oh, Bunga, I'm back. Let me check one thing real quick, and we're just gonna get right into this. Okay, cool. All right. Chapter 3. I did not save. Save state. Yeah, so Chapter 3. I decided to go with probably the next set of NPCs within the Fields of Hopes and Dreams, and that is, the tutorial puzzlemen. And the funny thing is that, like, alright, they're all called names respective to the Lightners, so basically Chris Master, Susie Master, and Rousey Master, as well as TP Master. And none of those obviously fit well within the context of the engine, as well as just as units. I didn't want to write, like, you know, like Susie Master, Chris Master, and Rousey Master within, like, you know, the unit selection screen. So I opted to just give them really basic names that kind of just fit the same characters as that. So, like, there's just, I believe, Tip, Kip, Ram, and Sam. I thought it'd be funny if they just all had a ring to, like, all their names, so... I mean, like, in all honesty, I probably would change them back, if I actually make this, like, a full game, but... It was more in the moment, just, alright, there's only, like, 10 units playable in the game, and I don't want half of them just to be master, or, like, have, like, the master tag right next to them, so... Either way, they basically all are one little family, all just going on recon, waiting for the Lightners to show up at their doorstep, because they aren't very mobile people, and if they were to run around trying to find them, they probably would just get caught or killed, so... Anyway, the big thing right here is obviously Tip was on recon duty on the longer route and hasn't come back yet, but they soon find out that they're going to be ambushed by soldiers pretty soon, and because they're Armor Knights, I mean... The best thing they could do is probably just hide and just take hits, while waiting for the Lightners. Anyway, with what I said earlier, like, with the Armor Knights being the most plentiful, I didn't want to give the player 5 fucking Armor Knights within the first 3 chapters, or... 3 to 4 chapters, so I opted just to obviously make a lot of these green units with, like, some of them being recruitable, and, like, they would basically play a bigger role later on. I feel like it wasn't right to just give the player a bunch of, like, one class and, like, nothing else, so I don't know, I might toy around with this idea later on, just because I don't think, yeah, giving 5 Armor Knights is a good thing. Alright, back to the main cast. They basically stop to catch their breath and bring up a field we're going to be seeing very soon. It's the next big location on the, I guess, this area, and that's Checkerboard. I generally did not know how I wanted to approach Checkerboard, or at least Great Board in the context of just Deltarune. And it's probably because of the fact that Checkerboard is so short within the original game. You are arguably there only for, like, not even 10 minutes casually. And for speedrun-wise, you're not even there for, like, over a minute. So it was more of just like, alright, this is probably the point in time where I probably play around with the idea. And so I invented the idea of a tribe that the king hasn't been able to deal with, called the Pawnman clan. Or the Pawnman tribe. And they're all known for being ridiculously fast. Which kind of fits in with the idea of just the king not being able to control them, so. But yeah, that'll probably be expanded on later. But just note for the time being. Anyway, with them talking, they get caught again, and another battle ensues. Only this time, Chris takes the lead in the fight. And because of that, we get access to, for the first time, the preparation screen, which allows us to basically just move around everything we have in our army currently. Yeah. Preparation screen. I honestly wish I had more time to, like, figure out how to change more of the UI, but all I got around to was really just the background, which, I mean, like, I think it's fine enough for what I have currently. It's the battle background for the ritual game, but either way. Preparations. You can choose to obviously deploy, like, undeploy some units if you wanted that, but you probably don't. But the more important thing is obviously, being able to select units, trade your items, and obviously buy new weapons if you want them to. Also lets you check out the map and, like, change your formation as well. So, you know, if you want somebody to set up here, you can. But it also lets you just scan the map and just, like, what you're going up against, everybody individually. But yeah. You have 4 Armor Knights. All of them being their respective, character. But we also have one special fella right here. Everybody knows Sham is in front of 2 shops instead of 1. More on that later, but Sham plays a very special role in this chapter in the fact that the hidden chapter is obviously revolving around him. He is going to die within 2 turns if you do not get to him in time. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're basically going to be getting to him really quickly and recruiting his dumb butt so he does not die. But outside of that, everybody else here has a pretty sturdy defense. We don't have to worry about saving them. Like, yeah, the lowest defense is 8 by tip, which, surprise, surprise, he is also recruitable. Everybody else is unfortunately not. So we get a second Armor Knight, which is noticeably worse than Jigsaw Joe. Through some, like, playtesting feedback, I realized, alright, he is significantly worse than Jigsaw Joe. But I opted to kind of make him feel more of a mage tank, but not really. He's got 6 resistance, which at this point in the game, like, if you're going up against mages right now, he can tank some hits, but he won't be behemoth in that department. That role is supposed to go to both Sham and Rousey, but, you know, if you need another somebody in that department, he can fill that. But Sham is special in the fact that there is 3 different magic types in the game, and he fills the role as the Dark Mage. Dark Mages are really good on, you know, just dealing damage, but usually have low accuracy and speed. But he can also wield just, you know, normal anima magic, which is the same magic that Rousey uses, but he will probably just be dealing massive single hits, but outside of that, he's not really that bulky. Anyway, since we're here, I'm going to be using that energy ring that I picked up on somebody like, I think, Top Chef. Because getting kills for him is pretty... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to Tip on the field. He's going to need the strength. So, in the meantime, I think I will be trading one of the vulneraries to you. You know, just because you are just existing, I will be trading yours to Top Chef. And yeah, you technically can buy stuff right now in the armory in the prep screen, but all of it is more expensive. And surprise, surprise, it is not Sham. I opted to not make it Sham just because it'd be kind of awkward if Sham actually died in your party and was still operating the shop. So, It was more of just like, all right, what can I do in that department? And I opted for just using NPCs that aren't even present right now, which are just Bloxers and I believe the Rabbits in the forest. But yeah, the shops here, at least in the field, will definitely offer some other stuff, but this is just basics. You got your heals, you got your magic, you got your iron tools. Anyway, with that being said, I think we're about ready to just hop right in. I'll save real quick. I'm actually brain farting right now. Save was right down there. There we go. Cool. And we'll just start. Yeah, this is just a standard, like, defeat everybody map. Gonna be running up here with Chris to immediately recruit our new and lovable Armor Knight Tip. He is also very over-Germanic, just like Jigsaw Joe, but only this time, he's just like, my friends, they're gonna die. I need help. And by all means, he probably needs the help, because, he is the weakest of the four. He does become equipped with something pretty notable in Fire Emblem, and it's the fact that he wields a javelin. There is only one javelin you can pick up in this demo outside of the hidden chapter, and it basically gives 1-2 range to anybody that can wield spears, or lances. Rarely useful for other units, such as Top Chef, but it really helps for someone like him on this map as well. He just lacks the strength. Yeah, for at least normal soldiers right here, he can deal 9, but for the Armor Knights, which he will be coming across a lot this chapter, he isn't really going to be doing much. So, you have the energy ring, so we're just going to give that to him. Boost his strength up by 2. And that should at least help deal with some things, so we're just going to throw Top Chef down here, or Jigsaw Joe. Hey, a point in resistance. I think his resistance growth is actually 5%, so that's really rare. Yeah, so I think the one battle animation I probably put the least amount of effort into was probably Sham's, and that's only for the fact of how many frames I put into it. I decided to basically work off of the Dark Mage's normal battle animation with just a cat head. Huh? You're not supposed to move. Hold up. I need to pull that up. That is not supposed to happen. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. So I think with some of the values I might have edited, I think they just so happen not to follow certain things. I actually can't save scene with this. Or Sham. I'm gonna go check my file real quick, because it's actually, you know, I guess I could just pull up, my original, yeah, I guess I could just pull that up just for the sake of this, because I have, like, so many backups for my ROM hack that it's not even funny. And I'd rather just play on that if it's for the sake of just, you know, being able to showcase the hidden chapter. So let me just pull that up real quick. That's still so funny, though. Oh, my God. Because I know I actually did patch this out. I think I just pulled up a wrong backup of it when I got the chapter 2. So let's see. Let me at least see if it works real quick. No, it does not. Let me pull up FE Builder real quick, actually. Because I know I did edit these values, at least try to fix them. I wonder if something actually got in the way since my last, my visit to it. Let's see. I think it's really funny that I have to edit this midstream. I mean, I want it to work. I want it to work. I think it's something I definitely, I guess, had an oversight with, so let's check here. Okay, yeah, so this is the right patch right here. Let me find it real quick. File, save as. Boom, boom. All right, now let's see if I can pull up one of my backups. Oh my God, this is great. This is great, bro. This is great. I love fixing things. I think that works. Right, that doesn't work. 5. Suspend. Okay, yeah, that works. Cool. All right, we're good. We're fucking good. Okay, there we go. Well, I've done it. I fixed the problem. Supposedly. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. That's still interesting, though. I definitely need to go look at the code of that. All right, cool. I guess I'm just going to be restarting this chapter. Just going off of where we were. Unfortunately, I do not have the energy ring anymore because I'm pulling up a backup, but... yeah, everybody else is fine, though, so... that is funny, though. I actually did not anticipate to experience Aruden just running through like that. Yeah, man. Through trial and error, I will showcase the entirety of it, but you know. Wait, I think that was actually a mistake. Hold up. Okay, no, we're fine. But yeah, how you doing, man? Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Just honestly toyed around with a very old engine, and you know, this was the result. That's about it. Yeah, Sham, I tried to write, you know, pretty nihilistic. He's kind of like that in the original game. Mostly just, you know, I've given up. That's about it. So, our main thing is basically just getting to him, killing the guy right next to him, and telling him, hey, don't give up. So, we're just gonna move Chris up here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm just gonna let Top Shift right here take the defensive role here. Jigsaw Joe can just kind of do whatever he wants since his defense is so high, so he can honestly just be swarmed by these Armanites and just be fine. He's just built different. Yeah. As soon as he joins the battle again, on the southeast side of the map, it mostly just fills the role of just dealing with those enemies. But after she wraps up, like, these 3 Ridden Rangers, she's basically just gonna be running up north and killing the boss and everything else in the way that's still here. But this is basically our 3 turns to, honestly, just get the XP we need in our army. Surely, can you deal with this? You can. So yeah, we're gonna talk to Sham right here. Tell him, hey, everything's alright, bro. And this basically starts the side quest with him. For those that obviously don't know what the fuck a Deltarune is, in the game, basically, there's a side quest in Chapter 1 all about gathering the key pieces, and you can kind of, basically re-experience that here. At least what I'm trying to recreate. There's optional chapters in every single one of the GBA Fire Emblem games, and this basically sparks the first one. The only condition you have to do is basically talk to Sham, and keep him alive for this chapter. Yeah, Sham hits hard. Sham is probably the best magic unit. As soon as I say that, Sham is probably the best magic unit you can get. Just happens to miss an 84% chance. Let's try that again. Yeah, he kind of is. I'm all for it, though. He cannot. That might change later on. Who knows? I do think it was funny that you pointed it out. Your health is 11. Should be fine. Ha! We'll get there, man. It wasn't reworked too much. It was mostly just, obviously... the torch made a big difference. And yeah, with obviously, Tip actually having resistance now, there's more tanks for that chapter, so yeah, I'm probably gonna spend this time actually just, you know, improving Tip real quick. Yeah, the one thing I probably wish I can maybe work around a bit is probably the fact that Tip literally gets shafted so hard this opening chapter for him, because he's placed in a position where he's fighting really nothing but Armor Knights, and the only units he really can take or, you know, deal with are the reinforcements that come right here. So the only real place he really gets to shine is really just with the Root and Ranger reinforcements and arguably the hidden chapter. I am not ashamed in saying that there are a lot of units I literally just did not edit stat-wise, and Tip is probably one of them. Tip is probably only going off the basis of an Armor Knight. Well, here's another thing I guess I could bring up. Like, obviously, I had to, like, you know, edit, like, what was already existing in Fire Emblem 8. And, like, obviously, Chris is, like, #1 on the character list. You know, as, like, Erica, per se. And as I keep going down, I obviously keep replacing characters with, like, you know, my own stuff. And, I believe Nemi was actually Tip's character slot, so... No, yeah. The rapier is, like, really good. Chris kind of needs it, though. Because I think, like, I obviously hand out an iron sword. But, like, outside of that, like, Chris is not really doing too much. Armory vendor. Yeah. I kind of had something going for that, at least last chapter. This was more of just, like, a breather. This stream is mostly just me reflecting on what I've done, so... I'm not really, asking for, input right now. It's still a red gem. Yeah, I'll throw you in there. Like, again, it's meant to be an overarching side quest. And yeah, I'm aware of that, Tellier. One thing I think I just realized, I think with this backup I actually had to play on, it actually doesn't have the Fates XP patch, so everybody's just getting lots of levels. This is great. I also don't have the extra 3,000 gold, so... Alright, let's see. Can I make it to the boss? That Steel Lance, is pretty important. Oh yeah, spoiler. The boss this chapter, Joe, happens to give a Steel Lance if I actually beat it to Susie, so... really helpful. Okay, Chris is fine. $21. You are not surviving. Got it. Alright, so I'm probably not getting that skill axe then. Noted. I just did the steel axe, didn't I? Dude, my vocabulary is the worst. Alright, go rock him, sock him, Susie. Just don't die. Oh, if only... oh my god, if only... I should have just placed Rousey one space higher. Oh my god, I would have got it. That's so funny. Wait. No, the javelin's down there. Fuck. That's my fault. That's completely my fault. Alright, well, I guess Susie's gonna get it. That's fine. Honestly, we have enough tools to work with to get through the hidden chapter. Yeah, after all that, it's just a big thank you celebration party. Anyway, the big story bit here is that, obviously, the Masters have been waiting for the Lightners for eons, and, they've been preparing for this moment. So, they happen to want to share something with Chris and Rousey, but, because we partook in a certain side thing, we're gonna get interrupted here. Yeah, he's basically just asking, like, you know, like, hey, you really meant what you said out there? And Chris is like, yep, I did. So, this is what sparks the first optional chapter in the ROM hack, and the only one, currently, so. But yeah, I made this the hardest chapter for a reason, but obviously, thanks to Tellier's playtesting, I might have overtuned it a bit. Because there's one mechanic that a lot of Fire Emblem fans do not like, including myself, and that's Fog of War. And the one thing I forgot to add at the beginning of the chapter was a torch so people could actually see. Because the enemies there are not nice at all. In fact, they're really hard-hitting mages that can honestly two-shot a majority of your army, so. I would not be surprised if there was, like, a playthrough that just had, like, really shitty level ups on, like, one character and they actually got one shot in hard mode, but the vast majority of the characters do get, like, two shot in this chapter, which I tried to work around a little bit. And just don't get hit then, like, simple, come on. Simply just don't run to the fog. And yeah, obviously, if you've been saving, like, the couple thousand gold that you've accumulated this run, this is the place where you probably want to spend most of it, because this is the second to last chapter in the demo, and there's a lot of good stuff you can pick up here. We'll get there when we get there, but it does help a lot, at least for the final chapter. The final chapter is still a challenge, but not nearly as hard as this chapter, so. I say nearly as if there's a big jump, but in all honesty, it's not that big. But anyway. Boom. Sham's Dilemma. Unlike every single other chapter so far, this one has, like, the least amount of dialogue for obvious reasons. It's mostly just a detour. I made up a fake area in the fields that is literally entirely covered in fog. And we'll at least get to see, like, a world map within, like, the end of this chapter, so. I had to make up some new locations to, like, you know, answer some scenarios, I guess. But yeah, just for the context of the story, I had to somehow find a way to write out all the puzzlemen that just joined our party. Primarily, like, the 4 masters, so, for story reasons, Tip just tags along just because the other 3 just don't want to be in here, because they don't like fog at all. They thought this place was just, like, you know, really just not up their alley. So they throw their weakest link in, and I think it's really funny. that's the starting conversation, and we immediately get thrown into this. Fog of War. Many people do not like it. Vision is important, and that's the entire gimmick of this map. Our entire goal is literally just to get to Sham's house, the very bottom of the map. And there's like 2 shops just very out of our way here. And we can only bring 6 units here. We actually have to leave somebody on the bench here if you've recruited everybody up to this point. So I'm going to be opting to bench Jigsaw Joe and bring in Tip. Because of some items I bought, I'm going to be trading with a certain somebody to give this guy an Iron Lance. I guess I'll give the extra one to Top Chef. Wait, actually, you know what? I'll take that as well. Yeah, that should do, right? Yeah. Well, that will just start. And yeah, goal here is literally just to seize. There is a very strong boss at the very end of this map that you can fight for. Actually, wait, no, I did not make the Nosferatu claimable, but I honestly should just for as a drawback. But also, hi, how are you doing today? Totally not showcasing 5 months of work. Yeah, bro, it happened. It happened. I fucking sat down for 5 months and learned FE Builder. I wouldn't recommend, but it was fun. I'm literally just showcasing all this, but if you're interested, yeah. Our top cakes and elixirs. That is the one thing I did not toy around with that I honestly should have. Vulnerinaries, concoctions, and elixirs, I should have themed around dark burgers, top cakes, and so on and so forth. I just didn't bother because, I think the sprites for the vulnerinaries and stuff are hard-coded. So if I wanted to change that stuff, I would probably break the game. So I just opted to leave them for the time being. And, all the other stuff I probably should have changed as well. I don't know. I feel like I could have definitely worked around, maybe, naming, the swords and stuff, but... Yeah, there's some stuff in, this engine that are hard-coded, some stuff like magic animations and stuff, but other stuff is very easily changeable. I don't know how much you know about the GBA Fire Emblem era, but stuff like fire, you really can't change at all. I mean, you can you can change individual values for weapons and stuff, but outside of that. Eventing's fun. Eventing's fun once you get the hang of it. Keyword, the hang of it. But no, yeah. Anyways, Fog of War. You're given 1 torch, and that's literally it. There's head hathies everywhere, and they're all ready to fucking kill you. So just to exemplify this, I'm literally just gonna sit here, torch. And yeah. Yeah, all of them hit pretty hard. Yeah, Rousey can take 2 hits here, so... Just head right in with Top Chef. I mean, don't let it discourage you. As somebody that literally knows nothing with eventing or coding at all, I just decided to just hop on this and just try to learn whatever I could. And there's enough community tools within this engine alone that you could probably work around it. It's just a matter of putting time and effort into it. I knew nothing about this. And then 1 month in, I was like, oh shit, I can actually do this. So like, a couple months later, I pooped this out, like. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of what I did, so. Like, again, it's like, it's just a matter of putting time and effort in. Like, I did this on my off time, like, for a couple months. Like, there's some tutorials out there on YouTube. There's some forum posts, I believe, on FE Universe, if you know what that is. Just search and just learn. That's all I can really say. Yeah, I literally did everything, man. I fucked with the sprites, I fucked with the map tiles, I messed with the portraits, the dialogue, everything. I did everything, man. The only thing I didn't do was mess with mini files, so the music's the same. Am I proud of it? Yes. Did it take a lot of time? Hell yes. I literally, like, I finished all the gameplay components, like, around, like, the end of March, and I just spent the rest of the time animating. No, yeah. I think, you can only submit, like, MIDI files anyway. And, like, the game's already so small as it is, like, I think we sometimes forget how much, or, like, how compressed some, like, older games are. Like, this thing I have right here, is under 16 megabytes. Like, I think just the thought of that is crazy. Because he is. Honestly, he was one of my favorite to animate, alright? I'm just gonna say that right now. I loved how he turned out. And his crit animation, I should have clipped it. It's probably my favorite fucking thing. It's probably my favorite fucking thing. Would never change it, ever. Okay, so, okay, I'm just gonna presume you've played Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2. Do you remember the tutorial NPCs in the fields? It's like TP Master, Susie Master, Rousey Master, so on and so forth. Basically, he is TP Master, but, like, I didn't want to, like, at least while making him, I didn't want 4 characters that just had Master at the end of them. Yeah. Okay. But no, yeah. He's honestly the worst character of the bunch. He originally, like, okay. I'm just fanboying at this point, but, he's basically an armor knight that doesn't have armor. He just has resistance and, like, has some alright growths. More oriented to resistance. So, he's basically good for this chapter, but outside of that, he's just gonna fall off. Honestly, the joke unit in this game is probably Susie, because, she's controllable for 2 chapters, and she's completely busted. Yeah, Lancer's a child. I wouldn't give him a weapon. I originally thought about making him an axe unit, but I'm like, I think with how little units I have currently, we probably just need a bard slash dancer, so let's just give that to Lancer. Do you have a vulnerant? You do. In context of normal Deltarune or here? Cause, I had some plans. I had some plans. Yes. Alright. I mean, like, in all honesty, I hope Sham gets a bit more, in the actual game, but, like, I plan on making this entire subplot with Sham, at least for, like, the first half of this ROM hack. I don't even know if I'm actually gonna be going further with it for a while, but this took me a while, so I don't know. Yeah, it's like, when it came to, like, what exists, I kind of was, like, toying around with the idea of, like, what I can do, or, like, what roles I want people to fill. And, like, in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if I made them healers later down the line. I also just wanted to make a hard chapter, such as this. And I don't know. Maybe I could, honestly. I could just opt to not give them, like, you know, magic at all and just give them staffs. It's easy. It's the developer's secret, you know? It's like, okay. It's funny, because, I don't think Telier's here anymore, but Telier helped playtest this, when I was still working on a lot of this, and like I originally just didn't give the player a torch here because obviously me being the sole person that's like making this, I know where all the enemies are, so I'm like, okay, this is difficult enough, it's fine. Lo and behold, my one place tester gets here, and they just keep getting fucking nuked because they don't know where anybody is, and I'm just like, okay, maybe you have a point. So yeah, I gave a torch. I like reworked tip to like actually be able to like tank magic hits a bit more. And I mean like, it's still a challenge, but I mean like, you know, just don't step out of line. Also, thank you, Lucky. I worked really hard. Let me tell you, making them all look decent was definitely a challenge. Bro, I would so kickstart that. Oh my god. Also, before you say it, I know Sham isn't the storekeeper. I just thought about the context of, alright, what if I made Sham the shopkeeper, but, like, Sham fucking dies in your playthrough? Then what? It's kind of awkward, so I just opted to just go for, like, typical enemies that aren't even present right now. I think it's a little funny, though, because there's just an oversized rabbit and a bloxer for, like, the armory and vendors, so... We love the marshmallow guy. Yeah, that too. That's another thing, because, like, I don't think there's a way I know currently on, like, custom dialogue for, like, you know, like, certain NPCs interacting with the vendor. Because I think it'd be really funny if, like, I just had Sham go up to Sham and it's just like, what the fuck? I don't have that power, at least, yet. Okay, I have a winner. It's fine. I think it'd be really funny if I could literally just do that. Like, Sham's skill, just storekeeper. He can just take stuff from the shop for free. My god. He's just like, yep, I own it. I mean, who's gonna stop me? Myself? No, yeah, I'm aware of, like, the patches and stuff. I just opted not to bother with it, because I'm like, alright, I don't want to worry about too much this early on. Like, I think the probability of me actually going at this again is pretty high. I'm just probably going to take a break for the next couple weeks. The big thing for me is obviously just, maybe finding, like, one other person to maybe help with spriting, just because I'm like, dude, I sat doing all of this for, like, 3 months. And that was mostly just battle animations. The tile sets and, the field sprites were pretty straightforward. The battle stuff, though, oh my god, I was, like, I spent, like, some of them took, like, a week on their own, like, for each. Yeah. It's close to a level up, actually. And you. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, there's plenty of people on the Fire Emblem Universe forum that could probably help. But I mean, like, animation's just hard. I mean, there's no, like, beating around it. Like, art is hard on its own. Animating it is an entirely different level. I don't know, all I say is just, like, I was too scared to really just ask for help. And I was too scared to obviously use other people's, stuff. So I just said, fuck it, I'm making my own. And, whether that was a good thing or bad thing is to be determined, but I think it overall was a net positive. What do you mean with that? I cannot kill. Oh, there's one thing I can do in this scenario, and that's C, so, No, yeah. I mean, that's fair. Honestly, I'm just bad. I'm just bad at keeping track of stuff. Because when it came to patches, I started writing down stuff. Just like, you know, like, what might break something. I don't know. I'm just mumble-jumbling at this point, but... Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, to be fair, nobody's done it. Nobody's done it. Only I have, in that department, but... It was kind of like, this was, like, that first month, though, like, when I haven't really done anything outside of, like, you know, like, maybe just making the first map and, like, scene in my hack, so... Click the panel below. Winky face. There's a trailer there, and it's in the description. Go nuts. There's like 5 playable chapters plus a hidden chapter, so 6 chapters. So have fun with that. We're technically in the last leg of it, so... And I mean, like, if there's also any bugs you find, by all means, send me a message either here or on Discord. I would love to easily patch it out. I mean, I've already found several today, so... Yeah, thank you, Lucky. But yeah, whole story bit here. Obviously, we make it to Sham's house. Sham's like, yeah, we came here for a good luck charm. Rousey's pissed. And we're like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad. And Sham shows up with the rock. A rock, supposedly. But it's actually just the first key piece. And obviously, there isn't really a reward here outside of a red gem that you get, but it's meant to be an ongoing, I guess, like, quest. It's all about just, like, keeping Sham alive the entire time, and, if you keep him alive while doing all this extra stuff, you will be greatly rewarded with something. Yeah, and immediately just cuts back to where we were, like, at the previous chapter, before we got interrupted, so... Surely it's safe. And just during their brief overview of how the fuck they're gonna storm Card Castle, Susie decides to come in and ruin everything. Because Susie wants to get out of here now. So Susie takes the map and runs off with it. So yeah, Susie runs off with the map, heading directly into checkerboard after everybody's basically said it once. There's big danger there. So they all basically go run after Susie. Yeah, so yeah, at long last, we've hit the final chapter of my demo. Holy shit, I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. Checkerboard! Our squad heads over to a very basic field. Let me tell you, this was the easiest thing to bring into the game. I only had to make 1 black tile and 1 red tile, and that was it. That is the entire field for this area of the game. Honestly love it though. I love it though. Yeah, hear me out. It just might. It just might. I don't know. I don't know what gave it away, you know? I don't know. The red seems a little off. I don't know if you can presume it's that, but... Anyway. The big deal here is that, obviously, there are monsters here, and they're not very nice. So, you want to basically keep our heads down low and not really yell at all. But, I think it might be too late for that. Lo and behold, the one person that can agitate them does. So the both of them obviously scream because one went up to the monster and the other is just yelling at them because they went up to the monster, and it just brings a horde. And now they're just like, oh, what do we do? We summoned a horde. We can't deal with this. And thanks to our valiant efforts in Chapter 3, yeah, we get to play checkers, yeah. Thanks to our deeds in Chapter 3, the masters decide to throw themselves at the monsters to basically buy us some time to go save Susie. Because I simply can't hand you over 4 Armor Knights, right? Simply. Maybe, bro. Who knows? Who knows? God, it's been so long since I last played checkers. I almost forgot about that rule. Anyway, yeah. Tip decides to join us, or the leader, Kip decides to send Tip our way, so we're not just alone, so we can at least get through the field, or the checkerboard. And, obviously with us running to go say Susie, Susie is already ready to start something with somebody. I wonder who that somebody's gonna be. Oh yeah, and the monsters obviously don't speak a language at all. They're just, I'm gonna be blunt. I literally just slammed my keyboard, and that's what they're saying. I literally just, it was very fun and amusing for me for the 5 minutes I did it. Anyway, this chapter serves as the very first chapter where Susie is actually not too much of a behemoth here. She's still really good, but this is the one chapter where she is arguably in trouble. It's almost a rescue mission of sorts. And for very good reason. There's not 2, there's like 10 around her. So basically, this chapter is mostly just rescuing Susie and surviving the horde. Oh, she's technically an ally unit. She's not on our side right now. She moves independently of our will. Blue units are units we control. Red units are enemies. Green units are allies. But yeah, this is the biggest map in the demo. Obviously, for good reason. There's nothing but these beasts. And they all have sharp claws that deal a lot of physical damage. They're weak to magic, though. So, I mean, like, your one counter against them is really just, using magic or other means, such as, like, stalling them out with your armor knights, or even using the beast blade you can pick up on the hidden chapter, which I thankfully did. Supply. And yeah, we can deploy everybody on this map too, so let me give him the javelin. Because I desperately need to pee right now, I'm gonna go pee real quick, so I'll be right back. Ah! Sorry, I had to kill the chair stream. Hope you're okay with that, Lucky. Okay. Yeah. I'll throw you back here. Now that. F1. Start. Yeah, I obviously hint at this, but, Chris should be talking to Susie this chapter, and this is the one and only chapter in between the big break between, Castle Town and Card Castle where Susie will actually cooperate. So talking to Susie here will basically make her playable for this chapter alone, and in all honesty, you kind of need it, because, these guys are beefy. They hit hard, and they actually can hurt Susie for quite a bit. Honestly, if it wasn't for Susie being at 25 health, this would actually be a much worse chapter for her, but outside of that, everybody in our party can do something. It just requires a little bit of elbow grease. Like, thanks to the Beast Blade, Chris can actually, you know, one-round the beasts here. Or at least the checker dogs in this case, but I have the Beast Blade here, you know what? Yeah, Jigsaw Joe is, like, I think just fast enough to, like, double them. And thankfully, Jigsaw Joe is also just strong enough to be able to one-round them on his own, because his strength stat is just super high. So... Yeah, it's possible to, like, get really unlucky here and just, like, have Susie take 3 hits and, be in pretty bad shape, but you can also just get really lucky and not have to deal with any problems. It's only just, you know, if the bad scenario happens, you have to kind of play fast. But aside from that, we get our final 2 units of the demo. Lo and behold, it's like the 2 NPCs that are located within Checkerboard, so... Mr. Society and Mr. Elegance. I do think it's kind of ironic, though, that the second healer in the game is in the final chapter of the demo, so you don't really get to experience extra healers for the mass majority of this. Oh no, that's not good. That is something I'm gonna check later. That should not have happened. I'm happy it worked out, though. That was still pretty funny, though. They just kind of spazzed out. Anyway. Mr. Elegance, he's a level 5 Myrmidon. He's got alright strength and really high speed, rivaling Chris, but has, like, no defense. But he does come equipped with the Beast Blade to really just patch things up this chapter, so he can take down these beasts in one round of combat. It's just a matter of keeping them alive. Mr. Society, though, is the final mage of the demo, and also serves as the light magic user. He can also use staffs, though, so yeah, kind of has the same property as Rousey. Also has a lot of movement, though, so that's the big advantage Mr. Society has over Rousey. He is honestly meant to be the better healer, and not as much of an attacker, since his attack is a whopping 9. He can technically deal with the monsters on this chapter, but afterwards, he's not really going to be doing much in that department. Who do I want to send where? Wow, I missed both of them. Okay, we're fine. How's Chris doing? He's gonna take one more hit. Yeah, I don't want to risk any coin flips right now. Hi, Vinta. How you doing? Doing great, man. Just thought I'd sit down and record an entire playthrough of my demo, you know? Yeah, man, I spent a lot of time. It's not even funny. I'm really happy with how it turned out, though. Writing dialogue was really fun. So funny thing. I had to find a way to, like, really, progress it, or, like, progress the story in some feasible fashion. And I could not find a way to really write it with Chris just being mute the entire time. So I just opted to basically make them a typical Fire Emblem Lord. Like, character-wise. Like, I mostly tried to keep some stuff intact, like, with what Chris is known for. Like, you know, Chris is kind of a prankster. But outside of that, it's mostly just Chris is there to just basically advance the plot. I mean, it's also just like, yeah, I also wanted to, like, kind of, like, make it Fire Emblem-esque. So, I mean, like, you know, there's just some stuff that's just like, alright, that's like a Fire Emblem trope, but I don't know. Writing's hard. Making workarounds is harder. It's a heal right now. You do. Is there only one that can hit you? Good. Okay. Oh yeah, I also made Mr. like Elegance really tall. Because God almighty, there's no way he's fighting if he's just a stubby little guy. Same with Mr. Society. Honestly, I probably could have gone away with Society since he's on horseback, but making sprites is fun, so. Something did not work. Something is not working. Something is not working as intended. Alright, it's time to play the game of what the fuck did I not check? What the fuck did I not check? Alright. So it was the player 4. What did I do? That's funny. Okay. Okay, that's weird though. Is it because I changed the values of those tiles? You know what? Idea. I got this. Map editor. Plane. I'm just gonna test this real quick. Why not? We'll let Susie do her own thing. That's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen. What the fuck? Let's find out why the fuck it's doing that. Okay, that's really weird though. So before it was working. Now it isn't. Ha. I am a little perplexed. Is it because... Is the value the same? Hold up. EA. Yeah, they're the same thing. And it worked both times, so... Let's figure this out real quick. Oh, wait, hold up. Wait, is a certain flag triggered actually? Hold up. This is something we have to work out later. That's rather annoying, because I could have sworn that worked before, but now it isn't. And honestly, I am a little tired. I have been streaming for 3 hours showcasing my demo, but there isn't much left to show, honestly. I was just going to show gameplay of Chapter 4 and then the end cutscene, so... I think I have a save state just to get past that, so I can just show that and then probably just call quits, but that is a little unfortunate. Or did I get rid of it? Oh, nope, there it is. Okay. Something that worked before did not work now. That's basically it. Enemy reinforcements on turns 2 and 4 for this map, did not go through. In fact, they crashed the game. So, we're basically, I'm basically just gonna go fix it on my own time and probably go patch it. So, I'm just gonna probably show the end cutscene with the save state I have, and we're just gonna go from there. Also, congrats getting on PB and Celeste. Or Celery. Nice. I mean, hey, core is a mixed bag for me, but you know, more power to you. God, this is kind of annoying though, because I'm like, I've play tested this game so many times, so I'm like I'm now just like curious as to why it didn't work this time. And like, I think out of all the chapters so far, chapter 4 has had least problems, at least outside his ending cutscene, but they really do live in a society. They do. Ta-da! That's the whole fucking thing. My god. And it just cuts like so abruptly like that because I just got tired. But yeah. 3 hours, man. 3 hours. That's fucking 3 hours of shit that you can play through. Presuming it actually works. Yeah. I spent 5 months on this, man, and I'm still finding stuff that's broken about it. Oh my god. But yeah, I just honestly wanted to record a session of this, just commentating on all of it, just for my own personal reasons. My archiving on YouTube. We'll probably revisit it at some point. Don't know when, but soon, trademark. I think I am gonna go raid somebody now though, because I am like actually starving. I like forgot to eat for 3 hours, so. To those that, like, don't know Fire Emblem, but know Deltarune and, like, vice versa, and saw this today, thanks. I put a lot of time and effort into it. Yeah. Let's go find somebody to raid real quick. Somebody that's probably streaming Fire Emblem. Also, I'm, like, the top streamer for fucking Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, so I'm, like, kind of proud. Kind of proud. Yeah. You know what? Keys to Darkness. Fuck it. Actually, you know what? Yeah, Keys to Darkness. Alright. Y'all have a good one. This is probably like the one and only time you'll see my face for like next month. Who knows when I'll show it again. Yeah. This is how it be. Have a good one, fellas. Ah!